facet of time.
You mind if I look at it for a minute?
No, because even what people, I travel to that dog show. I mean, there's stuff in there people just do not know. Yeah.
Nope. I should have brought it to you.
Let's do it again. Watch the brain that wouldn't die.
Well, that was the part of the plan.
Mr. made up for it in the rest of your stuff.
I was spreading the invite amongst my coworkers, and I sent it to one in the computer room. And his family owned a funeral parlor just north of New Orleans, right the other side of the bridge.
I don't know New Orleans.
Anyway, so they would.
The problem with me doing a fully adequate, proper introduction to the Count, John Ferguson, is I am not enough of an old fart to truly appreciate his career. So I went to Doug Loudenbeck.
He meets one half of the category, though.
So no, I went to Doug, who's also a fan of John's, and also I knew could provide a great video introducing him. I grew up watching John perform on TV. All of us have. I mean, just his career has been incredible. I'm going to now let Doug take over. Afterwards, John's got a book for you to preview. They're not quite in yet, but he is taking orders. He's also got some DVDs. He's got photos he can sign, and I want to get things started. So, Doug, no more delay. Take it away.
As soon as Norman gets it back to where it needs to be. Can you get it back to the first? No?
Had to get off of that.
Is everyone here?
And I'm an Oklahoma City history author.
No, we know.
Hi, Doug!
That's right.
The meatball guy.
Yeah, that too. I grew up in Lawton. I was born in Oklahoma City, in St. Anthony's, back in 1943, but I didn't grow up here. My secondary schooling was all done in Lawton. And back in those days, even though Lawton was a good distance from Oklahoma City, you could still receive the signals from the Oklahoma City TV stations, especially if you had one of the little rudder things on the top of your house that would reorient your television antenna. Now, you guys who live here in Oklahoma City probably never saw one of those or don't know too much about it, and you didn't need to. But down in Lawton, we did. And so, when Shock Theater first came on to the stage in 1958, as I recall.
May 10th.
I was a sophomore at Lawton High School, and we got together, me and several of my friends, on a Saturday basis and regularly watched Shock Theater, and Count Gregore was the host. And so, 53 years ago, I believe that was.
Do we keep bringing up numbers? Okay, yeah, it was 53 years ago.
For 53 years, but I only just met him tonight. And it's been a real pleasure, and I'm really pleased to be able to do that. So I'm not going to say too much more, because you'd much rather hear about him, except, Norman, I would like to, for you, you're going to, if you can want to come up a little closer, you're going to be able to see this video a little bit better.
So all you back row Baptists, move up a little bit.
As soon as it's over, we're going to turn it over to John Ferguson, also known as Count Gregore.
Here. Now the thing about it is, if tonight, if you have a camera, I want to get a picture taken with me, believe me, the cape will come back on. That's okay with you. That'll be great. Right? And ladies, you have to understand one thing. Now I've been associated with being a vampire all these many years. And I've been around, and there's only one thing you have to worry about tonight is not me biting your neck, though I would love to. It's just the fact that when you've been around as long as I have and as old as I am, unfortunately, it would all be in vain anyway. So therefore, you're safe. And I appreciate being here tonight. Retro Metro, one does. Dale Weedham, good friends, known him from day one. One time a gentleman came up to me, your generation, and one thing he said to me about the television then, not just because of me, but that generation, that genre. those were the glory days. And I will tell you, I did not realize that until later in life, even right at this moment as I speak to you. Because remember, we didn't have the sophistication of the ratings. They were just little books together, and things just daytime programming. I'm not even sure they went to midnight. But the bottom line is, we did the shows live. Nothing was taped in. Everything when you watched, if you were that generation, today's generation, computers, graphics, generated, everything. But then, it was just a black and white camera, and this is John Spence. John has had his own advertising agency, and he was there running camera.
He made me.
And
I didn't write the stuff though.
Who did write it? What? We didn't write it.
So was nothing written back then?
There were some things in the beginning, yes.
But much of it was added.
But much of it, no, you understand live. Okay. The show is on at 11:30 Saturday nights, and it's live. I have to be there. Now, there's a kind of stories that are going to be back and forth here, but I was working at Channel 4. I started in Channel 4 in 1956. About mid-56, I was, of course, being an announcer, I was a staff announcer. At that time, there were like 10 announcers on staff, and sometimes I felt like I was number 12. Because they had such professionals, Maury Ferguson, Big Ben Morris, Tom Paxton, Danny Williams, Bill Fountain, Maury Ferguson, I name them, they were all there. That was Channel 4 in Oklahoma City. I know John will support this. In production, whatever it was, this station in Oklahoma City, in a smaller market compared to these New York and the other bigger sized markets, that was one of the top NBC stations in the country. Danny Williams' show, that kid show in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, produced right there live locally every day, Monday through Friday, actually was on one or two television stations in the country that beat ABC's Mickey Mouse Club. Wow. It outrated it. So Foreman Scotty, Danny Williams, the kid show. There was a gentleman by the name of Hy Roberts, a talented man. He'd been down in Hollywood before he got back to Oklahoma City. He was a dancer, he could do anything, great voice. He's passed away. But he was there at the station as well. And I'm there. I was hired to fill the gaps. In other words, all of these guys were having their own programs. They were doing their commercials live. They were the talent. But they still had to have somebody walk in that booth at 6:30 in the morning or 9 or midnight, whatever time it was. I did it. Didn't care what the hours were. I was just there. But I got to Channel 4 with about 14 months experience in radio and television, totally. And through a friend in Tulsa who pushed me and was a friend of John's. His name was Bill McMillan. He was a newsman. And then the time I met him in Tulsa, and I got the job in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and he was now gone to, and I got there, I was in Muskogee 54, 55. He's now in Channel 4 as the newsman, calls me, and I had just started to work for this television station in Muskogee. He calls me in September, and in December, and I go over there and talk to him, and I auditioned, and I was in Channel 4 starting in January. So I had this quick turn and got there, and I didn't even know really where I was. I just knew, it's like Tin Cup, Field of Dreams. Is this heaven? No, it's Oklahoma. WKY-TV. It was incredible. I thought I was landed in NBC. Chicago went across the world. So she's now as a course line. Now I'm out again. So I ended up, what do? I traveled with the dog show for 3 months. I really did. He was a retired policeman out of North Carolina. Through there and he tossed traffic safety with the dogs. And I didn't want to do it. A friend of mine came in and said, "You like showbiz, you want to travel?" I said, "Yeah." So I traveled with him, got paid $35 a week and all my expenses. And I also was introduced to the jargon of show business and theater. When that's one aphorism, statement's always made, we got to clean up the act. Well, I truly learned what. 9 dogs, every stop in the hotel. But that was one of the most fun things that ever happened in my life. This gentleman was incredible.